Radio, Radio Wala. Radio, Radio Wala. Radio Wala.
Views expressed by hosts, guests and callers on this show and on other stations on Radio Wala are purely personal and not that of this radio station, its staff, management and owners of Radio Wala Private Limited, its subsidiaries, partners and affiliates. All calls can be used for public broadcast at another time by Radio Wala and its subsidiaries, its affiliates and partners. Now, on to the show.
If you're new to this show, you probably know what the show is all about, but I don't assume that everybody is kind of remembers why we do this show and why we do this show. Well, it's a show that wants to get into your head. Well, really, more than just your head. Want to go down south, get into everything that's personal to you, your thoughts, your body, how you use that body, where you use that body, what you want from it, all that. So the show Between the Sheets is taking a little different turn. We're going to hear many voices that I hope you will be part of. But, see, I was away in America before, and you know that I try and keep my eyes and ears open. I came up on this panel discussion that was happening in New York. It was hosted by what they call in America a South Asian, because a South Asian is a collection of Indian, Pakistani, Sri Lankan, Bangladeshi people. Unlike in England, Indians are called Asians. So in America, we're all called South Asian. So South Asian women and a few Caucasian women, which essentially were white, and some Hispanic women, were on this panel called Lady Drinks. So I like the subject. The subject matter on that panel was called Sex, Marriage, and Relationships, and how South Asian women and women generally take to these three things. How much of how assertive they are when they ask for sex, when they seek relationships, and when they consider marriage. These three things are the cornerstone, I'd say, for a man and woman in their personal lives. But men and women see this differently. Sex, marriage, and relationships. So I got an excerpt from all of this discussion, and all the voices. We split all the voices with different things in there. So what I want to do is keeping that as a backdrop. And of course, on the show, we've got a guest, the moderator of that panel. Her name is Joya Das, who's trying to get her phone connected in here. We're having a little engineering snafu. Not really a snafu, it's just that we're trying to make it easier so that it should have been easy in the first place. But it wasn't. Now we're trying to make it easier, so we'll get it through. But the format of the show, I'm going to introduce the topic at this point, and Joya Das, who is anxious to join in, because for them right now it's a work day. It is daytime. She is in New York. She's a TV anchor, and she's taken some time off to be a part of this show. I know somebody called in, and I'm assuming it's Joya.
Yes, Joya's called in finally. I think we've connected.
Hey, Joya, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we got the show on the road, and I've kind of introduced what we're going to do. So the format is I do the introduction, and then we get into we don't play too much music here on the show, but we do every top of the hour. We play a song, so give somebody a breather, gives me a breather, give people time to think about what we're talking about. So you just got into the time when I was introducing you and the Lady Drinks. So if you can quickly, in 30 seconds, wrap up. I know we'll do this a little more as we come back from the other side of the break, but Lady Drinks panel discussions, what was this about? What is this about?
Okay, so just a little bit of background. I have been, for the last 15 plus years, a television anchor in New York. And in the last while, I had started a production company. And because I'm still on the air a good 50% of the time, I needed to have a partner. So my partner had great success with Lady Drinks in Toronto because it was largely a freelance community, and the way people got jobs was by networking. So when her and I partnered up in New York in March of 2012, she was like, Joya, I really want to start Lady Drinks here in New York. So Lady Drinks basically is a monthly networking initiative for women much to the chagrin of many men who ask every month. It's just for women. And it's for those who are business-minded or own their own businesses, or maybe they lost their job during the recession. They're finally giving themselves license to start their own creative business, whether it be jewelry making, whether it be makeup artistry, whether it be being a DJ. There are so many, I'm first generation, but there are so many second generation, self-actualized, self-empowered South Asian women now living in this country, and they come because I'm doing something outside the box and have for the last 15 plus years, and now they're coming because they want to share their stories that they are too.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about sex, relationships, and marriage. Of course, on the there's a backdrop. There's a backdrop on this topic, which was something that I ran into in New York, where there's this group called Lady Drinks, and they do this panel discussion, and the hostess of that panel discussion is Joya Das. In fact, she's one of the founders of this, and she's on the phone with us straight from New York. For her, it's bang in the middle of the day, and she is a TV news anchor, so she's locked herself up in a, as she says, a closed-circuit studio at work. Well, good for her. And, you know, Joya, you're just missing out on the true ambience of this show, because it's fun when it's between the sheets, when it's nighttime. There's nothing going on except the stuff in your head.
I love the name of your show. In fact, I'm surprised that you even have a show called that in India, but I guess it's gone leaps and bounds since I've been there last.
Well, you'll be surprised. In fact, I hope the listeners here will rise to the occasion and tell you how much India has come in terms of expressing what they really feel about stuff that happens in their lives between the sheets. Of course, Lady Drinks was in Toronto. You started something in New York, and I would love to start the chapter here. I know I'm not a lady, but I could find a few ladies that may be interested.
Of course, and every month there are guys that are asking me, so is Lady Drinks just for ladies? And I was like, what part of that moniker was imply that a guy is invited? But as I was saying before the break, you know, Lady Drinks is a monthly networking initiative. Because I'm of South Asian origin, my demographic tends to skew.
Tell me, where are you
South
from?
Asian.
Where are you from?
My mom is from Calcutta, my dad is from Burma. I'm 100% Indian, but I'm born and raised here in the United States. So I'm as what people like to call ABCD.
ABCD, yeah. We are all DCBAs, you know. Have you heard of that?
What's that stand for?
Daisy's Confused by Americans.
Well, I'm dating one of those.
Yeah, really? How's that going?
He often says to me, he's like, I know you think I'm a fob, but...
No, but how's that going? How long have you been dating this guy?
So we've been dating for a few months, and he is straight from Hyderabad, has been in this country for about 10 years.
So what did you see?
One of the things that is a sticking point for us is that he has to play cricket every Saturday and Sunday, and it drives me crazy.
Oh, so you're a cricket widow then?
I am. I haven't been dating him long enough to be a widow.
Well, you know, because he's gone for those 2 days.
It's Saturday and Sunday.
I know. I used to be that. My wife used to be that. I used to do that for 8 long years straight, every weekend.
And how did she win that war?
She didn't. I'm paying for it now, though.
Oh, man.
So tell me.
It's going well.
Speaking of this subject, sex, relationships, and marriage. Now, you got yourself into this relationship, which I wouldn't have otherwise known hadn't you not told me this. You've got into a relationship. It's new from this guy who how long has he been living in the U.S.? Because
10 years. Okay,
so he's long enough. All right. I guess that takes the sting out of my question, though.
Which is what?
Which is, what did you see in him? Because, see, my experience while I was living there, I hadn't seen too many second-generation South Asian women date the so-called FOBs. While the other way around was very common, well, the FOB women always found second-generation ABCDs to date, marry, whatever.
Date up with, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really, at 30, I'm 40 now, but about 10 years ago is when I embraced being Indian again. I think you spend enough time away from your folks and their brand of Indianism that they shoved down your throat while you were growing up. And I think I spent enough time away from it and went to India by myself for the very first time, met all of my relatives, and reconnected with it, but on my own terms as opposed to anybody else's.
Being forced or something.
So since then, I think I have opened up to the idea of dating more Indian men. And to be honest, I have met my match in somebody who loves hosting events as much as I do. He also hosts a lot of events, networking events, but it's for something called Internations, which is for expatriates who live here.
Oh, yeah. We have that here as well, by the way.
Right. So that is where our common ground is. We are constantly out. We are constantly socializing, and our worlds collided in the middle of that. And I've really met my match, because I will tell you that not every guy wants to tag along to every single event that Joya is hosting, speaking at, or at. So, when you find somebody who enjoys it as much as you do, it takes a little bit of the pressure off.
So true to this show, I got to ask you really, it's not a dumb question, but it's very characteristic of my show, me as a person, really. So all that is great. You socialize well, you do all of those things. But how's life between the sheets?
Life between the sheets is great. The guy actually has been around the block, and he's not afraid to tell you. I mean, he definitely loves women. He loves flirting with women, and he's not afraid to hide that. So I have no complaints.
Now, what about...
My only complaint is the damn crickets.
If only he were here, because you've got no slip, no cover, right?
I know. Poor guy. He's not even here to defend himself.
No, I know. So now he likes sex. He loves to be assertive. He knows he tells you what he wants. Great. I mean, most guys do that. Most guys. I'm not saying everybody does, but most guys do that. But how does he take you? You're like an A-type personality.
Well, I think it's also important for me to tell you that I'm older than him.
Well, okay, so you're breaking all kinds of barriers here. But What about when you tell him what you need? How's that relationship in bed now? Is it something, even there, is it equally social, or do you wait for him to make the first move, or do you tell him what exactly you want?
Oh, my God, I'm a New Yorker. I am 40, and I am over it. If I want something, I'm going to tell you.
How does he take that?
Hold back, and I'm definitely not going to filter it. You know what? I got to give it to him. I often joke I'm a Bengali. I'm full of drama, full of passion. He's very, very even-keeled and handles me really well. I can, fly off the handle, and he'd be like, okay, I understand. I'm like, you're just telling me what I want to hear right now, don't you? And he just smiles and gives me a smirk. He handles me very well. I have to give it to him.
Well, good marks to you, because you actually found a South Indian guy who's actually a lot more, I wouldn't say submissive, but more tolerant.
Oh, he's not submissive. He's definitely strong-willed, too.
No, he's more tolerant, like I said, personality-wise, when you have a guy coming from the north versus somebody from the south.
Really?
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Okay, so that subtlety I did not know.
Yeah, big difference. In fact, the thing, I don't know if I can generalize this, but yeah, from experience, I'll tell you, Bengali women are pretty strong by DNA. They're known to be that.
I have heard.
They're known to be
that. I don't know that was necessarily the dynamic in my own household growing up, but I have heard that.
No, so yeah, it's by and large, I can't generalize this part actually. They're really strong-willed. Mm-hmm. Besides being cultured and pretty and all that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think we've got all the stereotypes down then.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so let's get down to this. I've taken your panel discussion, broken it down to little pieces.
Sure.
And, of course, listeners, I'm going to also invite you. You can call in. This is still a show that you can call in. It's not, don't be thinking that, okay, I have a guest, therefore you're not welcome in here. You're very welcome. We're talking about sex, relationships, and marriage. Now, Joya, when you got this panel discussion on the road with this subject, what did you have in mind? What was the outcome that you wanted from this panel?
So, as I said, we get together every month, and it's a gathering of women who are keen to learn about business, keen to learn about feminine power. And so, by virtue of that fact, every month I'm introducing a different activity or a different sort of workshop or something or other in order to be able to introduce a different modality of power. And in this particular instance, and it was kind of a hard sell, I have to be honest with you, I had a woman sensual coach, I had a New York matchmaker, I had a woman who publishes a magazine, and I had a woman who actually makes boxes for her sex toys. But all of them had the same message, which is that if you were to think about becoming adept at asking for things in your personal life and your sensual life and saw the success in that, then maybe you could actually transfer that to your professional life and become more proficient at that. In fact, the woman sensual coach, Alison Ogden, has a practice where she does exactly this. And when she sits down with women one-on-one, she asks them, what do you want? And then the second question is...
Nobody answers me when I ask that question.
oh, come on, it's because you're a dude. But when she's sitting down one-on-one with the women, she's asking, what do you want? And then more importantly, how are you getting in your own way? And maybe the way you're getting in your own way in your personal life might be how you're getting in your way in your professional life. To your point earlier, are you asking for the things that you want, and are you getting them? Maybe sometimes people aren't as comfortable in their own skin asking for what they want because they might get rejected. They may not like their answer. I mean, you got to be ready for that too, right?
So now, I'll tell you a quick snapshot on what this show is about and why I do this show, right? Kind of dovetails into what you just said. I think, first of all, we need to get out of this thing that, talking about sex is a taboo. It should be as natural as talking about anything else in your life that you're comfortable doing.
Well, it's a natural thing.
That's number one. And before we get into break. And number two is I want people to be able to understand what they really want without having to lie to themselves about what they think they want. And then go ask for what they really want.
It's all sort of the same thing, right?
Not really. What they think they want may not necessarily be what they want, because they may think they want it because of other reasons, to be cool, to be this. Anyways, we'll get back into that. Joya Das online with us. We've also got a guest in the studio, in person. Name is Dia. Now, why I got this show in here and then talking about the panel discussion, very simple. Women, the South Asian, especially South Asian women, let's stick to context, but women in America think in a different way. Their body language is a little different. They speak a little different, but deep down I like to believe women are women across the world. But it's their exposure that makes them express that differently, show that in a different manner. Now, women in India are different too. They think differently. Their cultural biases or taboos or their cultural exposure plays a big part in how they see their own lives and what they want from it. So it's a great juxtaposition of what this panel brought out in terms of views and opinions on the same subject of sex, relationships, and marriage. And I'd like you to react. And I say you. We're all friends, right? We listen to this show, we keep each other company. And I really want to know what you think. I want you to think. And Joya, how much time do I have with you?
I think that you've probably got maybe another 20 minutes with me.
That's it? Bummer. Okay. So yes, we've got 20 minutes with Joya. I would love for interaction. If you're curious about things, and you know the questions that I would ask, Joya, the questions I would ask, and I would actually get answers here on this show. I don't know if I ask the same questions over there if I got the answer, so I'm going to try with you.
Okay.
What's your most favorite thing between the sheets that you really want and you have no qualms asking for?
I think kissing. I mean, I think that is a harbinger of everything that's to come. And if a guy is a terrible kisser, like it's really just the rest of the exercise is just a big endeavor.
Now, see, kissing has many forms of doing it. Do you like it gentle? Do you like it a little rough? Or do you like it completely wild and...
No, it's got to be totally passionate.
Well, yeah, I mean, all three
passionate.
All three kinds can be passionate. You know that.
Yeah, but gentle probably, not necessarily like rough. That's not making love.
Well, okay, so there's two things. Sometimes you make love. Sometimes you have sex. Mm-hmm. With the same person. No.
I would say that I'm probably more of the first, not the second. So I'm a slow burn. It takes me a long time before I actually ever even get to that point with a guy. So, like, by that point, I've got to be pretty much in.
No, so that point, I'm assuming you're at that point with your boyfriend already.
Yes.
Right? So you do have sex sometimes. You don't have to necessarily make love all the time.
No, we do.
So in your mind, it's love all the time?
Yes.
And because sometimes you're horny, man. It doesn't have to be anything to do with the emotion. You know what I'm saying? No?
That's true. I mean, listen, I have loads of friends who are looking for the hottest guy in the room and have no qualms about, going home.
No, I'm talking about someone in a relationship. Like, you're in a serious relationship.
But I don't know. That's a tough question. I'm going to have to think about that one. I don't know that I really make the distinction when I'm with somebody that I truly do love. I think it's always that.
I mean, for example, okay, so I hear this. I hear that in and around the menstrual cycle, the horniness factor goes up. And you see this man just getting out of the shower, and I don't know, you live together?
No, we're
Okay.
not that far along.
Oh, okay. But, all right, maybe you've seen him in a, you're together, maybe he's at your place, you're visiting with his. Don't you feel like saying, okay, I want it now, give it to me now? It has nothing to do with love. Yes, you love him, but it's that wanting it has nothing to do with it.
I'm going to be very political as I answer this question.
Oh, come on,
because I am
don't.
at work, and I'm going to tell you this, that a 40-year-old girl is like an 18-year-old boy. Think about what you were like when you were 18. So that's like a permanent condition.
Right. So now, having said that, now, does it always have to do with... So my question is, do you make love and do you have sex? But maybe you never thought of it like that.
No, let me actually answer that question. I'm probably doing more of the former, and he's probably doing more of the latter.
You think he's having sex and you're making love?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
In both our minds, like if you were sitting here right now.
So I was going to introduce, we have a young lady here sitting on our,
Dia.
right across from me. Dia, are you on?
Hi, Anu.
I want to make sure the right mic is on. So say something, introduce yourself. You don't have to tell us your profession or whatever. That's not what I want to know.
Yeah. Hi, Anu. How are you?
I'm good. So
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So Dia, you've been listening all this time.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, I think I would go with her. If I were in that position, I would choose the former.
What position would that be?
Like make love is what it'll be like most of the times. I would prefer that
I
too.
think it's girls versus guys too. Like it's, you know what I mean? If you ask a guy.
No. Look, there are a few girls listening out there, Joya, and if any one of you listening out there understand what I'm talking about, do you make love all the time, or do you once in a while have sex? You can call in. You can, or don't let me force you. If it is true that you also have sex, call in and tell us what it's like. Tell Joya what it's like, because we've got less than 15 minutes with her now. I'm going to play an excerpt from the panel discussion to take things forward here. Okay, so I'm going to pick...
You probably picked the raciest part of it, knowing you.
No, I've got everything here. Actually, it was a really fun panel to listen to, except, so I had to break it up so we can, create a panel within the panel.
Of course.
All right, so it's called Asking for Power. Okay, let's try if we can play this one.
We really want to talk about power and the different ways that you can think about power. And if ultimately you become proficient at being able to ask for things in your personal life, in your sensual life, ultimately maybe even your bedroom life, imagine if that power could then transcend into other parts of your life, especially the professional one, which is where I'm really going with this, because we are at the end of the day a professional networking group.
Taking charge of your sensual life is all about confidence. I think that...
To Janice's point earlier.
Yeah, it's really linked. I know some very powerful women who have accomplished a lot of things, who are still very shy about asking what they want in bed and having sex when they don't want to, or doing things that they don't want to. And it's almost as if they regress into something else, when it comes to that. And I think it's just simply because we have not been taught, we have not been trained. There is a stigma about being sexually, I want to say aggressive, but I would say, creative or confident in it. You're called all kinds of things, freaky, or whatever, which is one of my least favorite terms, is freaky. But yeah, I really think that there's just a stigma about it in our society versus other cultures.
So, getting freaky. That's what this is all about.
Okay.
All right. So, Dia,
Yeah?
would you get freaky? Now, let's define freaky. Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to define what that is.
Yeah. It's really, in this context, if I'm not wrong, it's talking about being kinky in bed.
Right.
Right? Is that the same as what you think freaky is, Joya?
I think that it's... Yes, I would use that. I would use that term. I've got people around me, so I have to be sort of I have to be a little limited in how I'm putting this.
You know what you should tell them is, you're promoting New York One, which that's where you are right now.
No,
right?
God, I'd get crucified for that.
So where are you now?
But listen, like in the context of what we're talking about, and in the excerpt that you just played, whether you're asking for one or the other, it's about, at the end of the day, being comfortable in your own skin to be able to even ask for it.
No.
And I think that's what Lydia was addressing in that little excerpt. Most of us, and I would say even for myself, until I hit 40, I don't know that I was so comfortable in my skin to be able to say, hey, you know what, I want this. And if it's not for you, it's not for you.
What's the freakiest you've gotten? Because you wanted it, not because he wanted it.
Oh, God, you're barking up the wrong tree here, my friend. I am not somebody who's that out of the box when it comes to my personal life that way. I'm not that freaky.
You're not?
I wish that I could say I was, but I'm not.
Okay, but you're okay that you're not, right?
Yeah.
Because see, a lot of women, when they're not freaky and their guy expects it so much, sometimes they feel inadequate.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that therein lies the chemistry. I think that would be probably lead to an automatic breakdown in terms of who I'm with in that capacity.
Mm-hmm. Now, if
that was their expectation and I couldn't meet it, then okay, you walk away. I'm sorry, it's not for me. In fact, that would probably be a turn off for me.
No, you don't have to walk away. It's just that, okay, you don't want to do it. That's fine. We'll accept this. Let's try and do something else we both like.
Right, but I'm saying if the person the other party is still asking for it,
true,
unfulfilled, then you know what, I might not be your flavor of the month, and that's okay.
I want to talk to this one point that this whole panel discussion was about. Asking for something in your personal life can make it easier to ask for something in your professional life, and I want to see what you think about that. What does that really mean, okay? We have a guest on the show. Her name is Joya Das. She's she's many things, but the context in which she's here is a moderator and a co-founder of a panel called Lady Drinks in New York, and she did a panel discussion that had to do with sex, relationship, and marriage, and how South Asian women see these three things in their lives personally, and then how it translates professionally. So, what did you find from this panel to be connecting to asking for something in bed or between the sheets or in your personal life? And I say personal life, that has to do with sex, relationship, and marriage, to their professional life. I mean, sometimes you have these...
The through line that runs through is, regardless of which context that you are asking for things, because that's really what this is about. It's empowering women to think about power in a different way than you normally would. And if you were to think about it in the way that you would ask for things in your sensual life or your bedroom life, and you saw success with that, what would that look like if you then took that skill set and transferred it to your professional life? So the one through line that ran across all the panelists is that you've got to love yourself. You've got to take time for yourself, and you've got to invest in yourself. And the byproduct of that is the confidence that we were talking about right before the break. That confidence then allows you to be able to kind of commandeer whatever it is that you want in both contexts, professional or personal.
So confidence more so in the way to be able to deal with things that come your way and professionally, but really to ask for things. I mean, I know of some women, okay, who are really successful at work. They're climbing the corporate ladder, or besides that, they're really strong entrepreneurs doing well. But when it comes to their personal life, they kind of take a back seat. They don't want to be as assertive, or they feel that they cannot be. So there's a mixed message here.
Well, there's a mixed message because as a professional woman, as a New York professional woman, it's oftentimes you're putting your professional life first and you're putting your personal life second. So by virtue of that fact, you're also not practicing as much. So if you're not practicing or asking for things in your personal life and seeing the success in that, then you would probably be more reticent to keep asking for it. So, but if you're, the A-type personality in a boardroom and you're used to getting what you want in that context, it's easier to keep doing it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, this panel was really to bring up the conversation about why are we neglecting our personal lives, because it's something that we need. Sex is something that we need, and why are we neglecting that, and why aren't we as confident asking
So what I'm hearing is it should be more like, if you are successful in your professional life, then why aren't you successful in your personal life? Ask for what you want there rather than the other way around.
Exactly, but at the root of that is that you've got to be able to love yourself to be able to withstand whatever answer comes your way, and and sort of be bulletproof to it.
They got to bring this computer back, There you go. I'll see you all. If you like hanging out here, you got to tell your friends to join me. It'll be fun. It's not, nothing formal, nothing serious. Well, sometimes it is, but come, let's have fun together. Let's speak about what's on our minds between the sheets. Bye-bye. Pee time.